Hello everybody and welcome to episode 12 of the Weekly Deep. In this episode we cover our 5-year anniversary meetup and cookout, the incredible Sea of Cortez Liveaboard trip, and go into the weekly DiveViz forecast. We also recap some of the local conditions that we've been seeing recently, especially the awesome visit to the Coronado Islands. Sunday was such a special day. It is truly humbling and mind-blowing to see how this has all evolved into what it is today. I feel like it's very cliche to say this, but it is true that it is the people who are and have been the best part of this journey. The people that I've gotten to meet, gotten to work with, travel with, grow with, and of course, dive with. I'm convinced that you are the greatest group of humans in the world. And we got to see so many of you this past Sunday. We had over 30 people line diving and another 15 or 20 snorkeling, followed up with our post-dive hot dogs and some fresh fish straight from the Sea of Cortez. And all of that went off without a hitch, which is such a testament to our crew and all the veteran and return line divers that came out and are always giving us a hand. There were so many people who didn't know each other, but the social scene was amazing because freedivers are just the coolest, and that is what makes this work. So really, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us at Just Get Wet, thank you to anyone and everyone who has been or is involved with us in this crazy venture. You're making our dreams come true every time you show up. And speaking of dreams come true, the Sea of Cortez did that and more. And no better person to hear about it from than the man who discovered the possibility, did all the research and logistics to make it happen, and led this ship of fantastic freedivers on an adventure of a lifetime.
Okie dokie. What's up, guys? Still coming off the high from the Sea of Cortez Liveaboard trip, but we don't have much time. Gabby and I here are in the Frankfurt airport headed to Croatia for Deep Week out there. So I'm sitting here busting out the Weekly Deep edit here on my computer during the layover. So a lot of hard work goes into this, guys, so you better like it. But let's talk about Sea of Cortez. So the theme of this year's trip was pinnacles. It seemed like we were finding a lot of yellowtail deep on the pinnacles. No big schools, but just single fish and like good size 20 to some 30 pounder fish. Tons of wachinongos, the biggest schools of wachinongos I've ever seen, and the biggest wachinongos in these schools of wachinongos. It was pretty mind-blowing. I could talk about this trip for days, but just trying to break it down quickly. Mike Jones struck big first with a nice big amberjack, and later on in the trip, landing a big PB yellowtail. Chris Lincoln had an impressive cabria on one of the pinnacles, and also a nice big yellowtail. Brett Berry did in Brett Berry fashion, took one dive and shot an AJ, and then was done for the rest of the day. Big Mike was super productive on the reef, got a lot of good cabrias, and had a pretty incredible story about battling multiple eels. Filling in for Roz this year was a complete wild card by the name of Dylan from Iowa, and with no previous spearfishing or freediving experience, somehow managed to be hunting fish at 60 feet, and he also learned that spear guns can bite back at times. Max put an absolute hurting on the yellowtail population. Chase had an impressive performance this year, consistently finding fish down at 70, 80 feet. And the one and only girl on the trip, Gabby, did some impressive diving for her first blue water hunting, landing and stoning an absolute slob of wachinongo and getting her first amberjacks as well. All right, got it. So all in all, trip was amazing. Couldn't have really been better. I could talk about this for days, but my layover is running out of time here, and I got to put this edit out. So we'll be seeing you guys soon back in San Diego.
Well, if that doesn't make you want to fly down south right now, I don't know what will. We get it. But don't be too disheartened. Our own backyard is warming up and coming alive right now. We've run a few trips the past week to the Coronado Islands where we're seeing 40 to 60 foot viz, and water temps are in the mid 60s, and seeing signs of some bigger fish coming around. If you want to get out to the islands, we're going on Sunday, so give us a call. If you can't make it, you should definitely get out in the water the next few days to see some of the best conditions we get in Southern California. But the question is, when exactly should you go? Nearshore conditions look pretty good for the rest of the week with calm winds in the morning and our standard afternoon onshore flow in the afternoon. The weekend looks a little bit more breezy. Winds are maxing out at 11 knots on Friday. And while the winds never get that crazy, throughout the weekend they just don't really get a time to settle out, so expect there to be a little bit of chop on the surface. Same thing happens next Wednesday and Thursday. Definitely doable, but won't be glassy out. Surf is in the 2 to 3 foot range for the next week, making it for easy shore dives and comfy rides on the boat. Water is in the mid 60s and climbing, so the ice cream headaches and 7mm suits are but distant memories. And if we could only get a little more sun, we might be able to convince ourselves that this is downright tropical. All right, that's a stretch, but stretching is good for your freediving. So we've got a few classes this week, plus line diving and an open party trip to the Coronados on Sunday. So we hope to see you all out there. And if not, we will see you right here next week for lucky episode 13.